So a lot of people ask about seed. What is seed? Some people call us seeds. There's no S, it's just seed, SEED. And it stands for Students for Education and Economic Development.
See, at the time, I had just finished doing a project in Chicago called SEED, Students for Education and Economic Development, where we had taught a lot of young people the thermodynamic economy, where you pray, Our Father throughout the church, and where you develop your institutions and your businesses. So it's like, that's what I was teaching.
This was an idea that was prayed through, that was birthed by the Reverend James Luther Bevel and some of his colleagues after the murder of Ben Wilson, who was the #1 basketball player in Chicago in 1985. And the group came together and they studied, what is murder? What is at the root of murder? And what they came up with was that murder travels on 4 legs: economic exploitation, miseducation, sexual perversity, and an improper diet. So Students for Education and Economic Development was designed to answer those issues. You replace miseducation with education. You replace economic exploitation with economic development. If you search across this country, you will find many meetings going on, but nearly 0 meetings dealing specifically with developing an economic platform for young Black males. This is particularly troublesome when you consider that crack cocaine was a socially engineered scheme that was successful because there's no economic development for young Black males. So in the absence of that, drug sales are rampant. It is the economic development platform for young Black men provided by the United States government. I was with Reverend Bevel as he was transitioning in 2008. And on his deathbed, one of the things he told me was that he wanted me to go and work with Bishop Luke Edwards in Eutaw, Alabama. He talked about the kind of development that Bishop Edwards had been involved in, and he thought that it would be great for me to learn from him. And so Erica and I were trying to kind of decide where we wanted to set our roots. We were traveling around, deciding where we wanted to work. But when we went to Eutaw, when we got to Eutaw, Bishop Edwards, when I saw what he was doing and his spirit, I decided to stay and work with him. And of course, murder was not the big issue like that in Eutaw like it was in Chicago. So the first project that we started based on what we saw the need was. There were tons of children playing, ripping and running up and down the street and kind of like purposeless. And so we began gathering them together and we developed a farm school. This was based off of a project we had worked with Reverend Bevel in Chicago. We were in the 9th Ward, 43rd Precinct, Roseland, Wild Hundreds, and we had got BDs, Black disciples, to stop fighting, and we were taking them out to a farm and teaching them how to farm organically. And we had children and neighborhood people, and it was really an excellent way to engage. So when we saw all the children out, we said, well, let's start a farm school. And as we began gathering children together and counting, we wound up with on average, about 40 children. Sometimes it was up to 46, 47. Sometimes it would drop down into the 30s. But on the average, we had 40 low-income, high-risk, and special needs children. And we began to teach them how to grow food organically. It went so well that we were able to set up farmers markets with the children, roadside stands, and we all made some money. This boy is a man who is the father of his community. When you have these, if they come to agreement, we can lift the curse off our community. It's important for us to remember the people we lost. Somebody might say, why? Now, I know something. This here that we have here today, this is called an Atonement Memorial Garden. Not just a memorial garden, it's an atonement memorial garden. We're building this garden. So, the Atonement Memorial Garden is a garden that we built as part of our atonement as men for allowing our community to collapse into the condition that it's in. And we gathered children from the Ridgewood projects, and we began building this garden, and we began searching for families. And when we found those families, we invited them out to plant fruit trees in the name of their loved ones. And it turned out to be a very, very meaningful, very significant and profound, not only project, but process.
I think that is very nice, because it brings back memories. His children and myself, his mother can come out here and look at the tree, look at his children grow, and maybe get large enough they could pick some pears off of it. And let them know that this tree is for Antoine.
One of the things that we noticed when we were developing this project is that the average article on black males being murdered is about 5 lines long, sometimes 4. Victim identified, such and such was killed at so-and-so place. He was shot to death. We don't know who did it. If you know, call us. Bye. And this is where we have been organizing high school students and university students. We wanted to go mostly from Tuskegee, but they've been coming in from around the country. And we have the Final Call staff training these children on how to do interviews, how to write articles, what the composition of articles looks like. And these children, when they're ready, they actually interview the moms. And they don't do murder articles. They do life affirmations. A very different process.
When I turned 40 years old, Antoine said, "Mama, you 40 years old?" I said, "Yeah, Antoine." I said, "I'm 40 years old." Antoine said, "Woo-wee, Mama. Mama, you getting old, ain't you?" I said, "No, I'm not getting old, Antoine." I said, "No." "Oh, yes, you is too, Mama. Let me give you 40 licks." Antoine wanted to hit me 40 times. But we done had some good times together. Antoine was not no bad person. Anybody that knew Antoine would tell you that he was not no bad person.
So, and over here I said, they had a future, and this little girl saying I was the future because she's no longer here.
Right.
And we don't want to put a lot of negative stuff on so people go there and cry. We want this to be a mural. This Atonement Wall garden mural should be a mural that uplifts people when they see it. Lift their spirits. And I'm gonna make sure it looks like every child, every man, every woman, every kid. This mural to me represents the forgotten that will never be forgotten now. They'll always be remembered, because now I'm going to use a paint that won't fade. They have a new paint that's mixed with a polyurethane that it won't fade like the old murals did when I was doing it back in the 80s and the 90s.
in the 80s.
Yeah, see, they got paint now that you just you use it and it's there forever. Just like long as houses, paint on cars and houses last. That's what we're using now.
Okay.
There's a scripture in the Bible. It's in the last chapter of the Old Testament. It's called Malachi. And it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the great and dreadful coming of the Lord. He will turn the hearts of the fathers and mothers back to the children, and the hearts of the children back to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." when you drive up and down these roads and you see dilapidated, gutted, wore out buildings, when you see potholes in the street, when you see people just kind of hanging and don't have no direction, don't know where they're going, that's a cursed condition.
Yes.
It is certainly not a blessed condition. Can we agree on that? That's a cursed condition. So in Malachi, it gives you a scientific way to remove the curse. It ain't even about what religion or religion and who, but nah. Turn your hearts back to your children, and children, you turn your hearts to the fathers and mothers, and the Lord will lift the curse.